All right. So today we're going to be talking about my least favorite sports analyst in all of sports, not just the NFL. Not just the NFL, mostly the NFL, because that's what I feel most comfortable covering. But just in general, this guy might be the worst analyst I've ever seen. They call him Mr. Consistency for some reason. I don't know why. He had he in like 2022 he got like a couple like picks right, and he just started getting called Mr. Consistency. I'm pretty sure that was like self-proclaimed Mr. Consistency too. Uh, and look, I'm not a hater, man. I don't like making whole videos just dedicated to hating on somebody. So I'm not hating. What it is, I'm wrong all the time. Okay, if you go back through this channel, I'm wrong so many times about so many different things. I predicted a lot of things for this season that just aren't going to happen. The difference is that I'm not getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit on a booth on national TV and be wrong. Okay, I'm in my bedroom making videos. Okay, this guy is getting paid a lot of money to just mess up constantly. And I just want to go through some of his worst takes, and we'll start off with this one right here.
Here's the deal. Every option needs to be on the table with the number one pick. Every option. If they love a left tackle, even if the whole media is like, it's got to be Travis Hunter, you got to do it. If they love Travis Hunter, you got to do it. If they want to do what the Bears did 2 years ago and trade the pick for a bounty of stuff, if that's available to them, and it's not available every year, right? You got to do it. Like, you got to do it. And you also have to deeply and thoroughly investigate or, figure out how much you like Shedeur Sanders and or Cam Ward. And if you feel like this year's QB1 that you can pick, you can decide who it is, you like more than last year's QB3, who you have, then you must shop Drake May. And if as an added bonus, because I know Wilds thinks Drake May is awesome, if the Titans agree with you, who have the number 2 pick, and the Titans are like, listen, we would take Shedeur, but if you guys take Cam, we like Drake May more than Cam Ward. As an added bonus, you have a chance to truly revamp the New England Patriots by going Shedeur Sanders 1, Travis Hunter 2, Deion Sanders head coach, and say you turned the worst college program around in 2 years. Have a shot at the worst pro program. That has to be something you investigate. And for some reason, Drake May is a sacred cow amongst Patriot fans that the play doesn't demand, nor does the tape. And so it just must be considered and investigated.
I agree.
Oh boy, where do I begin with this one? I've already talked about this one in my worst takes video, just in general, not just about Nick Wright, but just my worst takes video. This might be, honestly, especially in hindsight of the 2025 season, this might be the worst take I've ever heard. Drake May is playing like the MVP right now. I still think it'll be Matt Stafford this year, but Drake May is playing an MVP caliber football right now. And the Patriots are sitting at 10-2 with him at quarterback. Now, granted, a lot has changed since this moment. This was mid-season last year, going into the draft. But in hindsight, Drake May's playing MVP caliber football. Shedeur Sanders falls to the 5th round and became the 3rd string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He's playing now. He had a decent game last week. We'll see what he ends up doing. He's not on Drake May's level, though. And then, so you're saying trade Drake May for Shedeur Sanders, and then go and hire Deion Sanders as your head coach because he turned around one of the worst college programs? No, he didn't. The Colorado Buffaloes, again, in hindsight, they've won, 4 games this year? 5 games this year? And we're almost done with the year. They might not even be bowl eligible. I don't think they will be bowl eligible. He didn't turn around anything over there. And even when he said this, they won 8 games and lost the Alamo Bowl. Like, I don't understand this take at all. There was a lot of people that were super high on Shador Sanders because of his name. And as a prospect, I liked him. I thought he was decent. I thought he could have been a late first round pick, early second round pick. I thought fifth round was a bit of a slide for him. Not more, it was more than a bit of a slide. It was a slide. But to say, go trade, and we'll take his logic at this time without hindsight. Drake May was a top 5 pick. Drake May showed flashes of being really good last year on one of the worst teams in the NFL last year, which the Patriots were one of the worst teams last year. He showed great flashes, made a couple mistakes, but it was because of his circumstances. Then they come out, they put an offensive line around him this year. They give him some weapons. Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry's been a nice weapon for him this year, and he needs more still, but they give him some weapons. He's still not working with a lot. And the team around him, though, the defense is fantastic. The team around him overall got better, and now Drake May is playing MVP caliber football. But last year, he wasn't working with anything. Like, I don't know how you can just give up on him after his rookie season when he was doing, like, he showed a lot of flashes, and there were a lot of Patriots fans that were really excited for Drake May, rightfully so. He turned out to be fantastic. This is just such a horrible take. I had to include it. I know I've already talked about it, but it had to be in here because this just demonstrates, like, it feels like sometimes he does these things for like shock value and clip value rather than actually trying to just be accurate. And that's one of his big problems. Another one of his big problems is very obvious bias.
No chance they lose this football game. I am not guaranteeing a Mahomes masterclass. I am not guaranteeing a blowout. But what I am telling you is this team, I know Colin is racing to say the dynasty is over. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I mean, I would like to go at least 1 year without them winning the AFC and playing in the Super Bowl before we announce the dynasty is being over. But
that's fair.
But we'll see. They're not losing this football game. And I am not going to spend a lot of time worried about how I'll feel if they lose this football game, because I kind of feel like I know how I'm going to feel during this football game, which is the Kansas City Chiefs off a bye with a methodical opening drive to take the lead. The Kansas City Chiefs defense forcing Bo Nix into a quick 3-and-out or 6-and-out. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's 10-0 Chiefs. I would see in that scenario the Broncos doing something they desperately do not want to do, which is put the game in Bo Nix's hands. And that, to me, is the recipe for multiple turnovers and the recipe for the Broncos offense to get totally out of sorts. Right now, at 5-4, they control their own destiny for the division. They are a game behind the Chargers, 2 games behind Denver. They play the Chargers once, they play Denver twice. They handle their business, they will win the division. And you lose this game, and that's out the window. And now all of a sudden you're relying on other circumstances. So I just don't think this team loses this game.
Once again, so many things wrong. So many things wrong with this clip. First, the Chiefs lost this game. They didn't win. I don't know where his confidence was coming from. Chiefs were very beatable before this game. They're still very beatable. They have 5 losses on the year. I'm not saying they're a bad team, but I don't even know where the confidence came from. Like, the Broncos were playing better than the Chiefs at this point, and the Broncos were leading the division. They are still leading the division. But you know why he says this? It's because he's a Chiefs fan, and he has to show that bias. And there was just no reason to believe the Chiefs were going to beat the Broncos here. I mean, it could have been a competitive game. You could have thought the Chiefs were going to win, but he's so confident that he knows the Chiefs are going to win. The Broncos stand no chance, even though it's in Mile High Stadium, even though they're playing better football right now. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs are just going to win. He doesn't even really give any reasons or any examples as to why they would win. But this kind of goes into my other point about him. Obviously, there's clear bias. For whatever reason, this guy has a very weird disdain for Bo Nix. I don't know what it is. Like, he hates Bo Nix. I've never seen anybody hate Bo Nix. It's such a weird player to hate. Like, he's just average. Like he's just like above average. He's just a decent quarterback. You can win with Bo Nix. They are winning with Bo Nix right now. I don't understand the clear hatred for him. He had a great rookie year. His second year, maybe he's taken a bit of a step back, but he's had some really big games, like the Giants game where he came back, and like he's had some really nice performances. Like I don't get this hatred for him. I mean, they're winning. They're winning. He's playing efficient. He's not turning over the football. He's playing good football right now. I don't understand. Like, well, I understand it. It's because he has to hate the Broncos on national TV. He has to. Every chance he gets to shit on the Broncos, he will do it. He absolutely will do it. And here's an example of him just hating on Bo Nix for no reason. And then here's another example of him just hating on Bo Nix for no reason. I don't know what it is. He doesn't have this same disdain though for another team in the AFC West, which is kind of weird, and that's the Raiders.
How about this? I think the AFC West is going to have 3 playoff teams again, and the Broncos are not going to be one of them.
Wow. Okay, I'm excited to talk about that team with you.
The Raiders are finishing second in the AFC West, America.
Make your case. After you just
they had a bottom 3 quarterback in the league. They now have a top 10 quarterback. They had a bottom 2 coach in the league.
Pandering to this.
They now have a top 6 coach in the league. They went from downright awful at the 2 most important spots to top 10 at the 2 most important spots. Brock Bowers is awesome. Ashton Genty could win the rushing title in year 1. Do they have a single receiver I love? Probably not. Do they have a similar Cowboys issue of outside of Max Crosby, what do we love on the defense? I get it. I understand that. When Carroll was like, I win 10 games every year. Won 10 games for 20 years. I don't even think about not winning 10 games. I just love it. And I think they're going to sneak up on some people. And I think that they are a playoff team.
Playoffs?
I think the Raiders are a playoff team, and I think that Geno will be excellent, Bowers will be excellent, Genty will be excellent, and Carroll will coach up the secondary.
So there are certain parts to this I sort of understand going into the year, the optimism about Pete Carroll, the optimism about Ashton Genty. The one thing he never mentions here, though, and just doesn't think about is how horrible the offensive line was. The offensive line was terrible even at this moment, and with 2025 hindsight, the offensive line is still awful. Maybe even worse than we expected, definitely worse than we expected. Geno Smith being a top 10 quarterback, even at this time, was laughable. And it is even more laughable now. Geno Smith might be one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the worst starter right now in the NFL. And again, he's got a horrible offensive line in front of him and not a whole lot of targets, but he definitely he's throwing a lot of picks, a lot of bonehead decisions, a lot of really bad turnovers. He's been horrible this year. Pete Carroll's been a surprise to me. I didn't expect them to only have 2 wins at this point. I thought Pete Carroll would at least be competent enough to get them to at least 5 or 6, but clearly that has not been the case. And Genty's running behind one of the worst O-lines in football. So, yeah, the Raiders absolutely have not been one of the best teams in that division or at all. Definitely not going to be a playoff team. And then once again, the Broncos hate comes in with the take that the Broncos won't even make the playoffs. They're going to finish bottom in the AFC West. The Broncos are currently sitting at 9-2 and are winning the AFC West in a clear margin right now. 2-game lead over the Chargers, and his beloved Chiefs are third. Look, I didn't necessarily expect the Chiefs to be third either, but I definitely expected the Broncos to be a good football team. The Broncos had one of the best defenses in the league last year, still one of the best defenses. Bo Nix is efficient. He would hate me for saying that. Bo Nix is an efficient quarterback. Yeah, it's just more Broncos bias and hate. And I'm not even a Broncos fan, and I'm defending them like I am. But no, it makes no sense. I don't understand some of his logic. I don't get how the Raiders, I mean, he even mentions all of their flaws. I definitely did not think the Raiders were going to be a playoff team with Pete Carroll. They're going into this year with a lot of holes still, especially on defense. He mentions the holes. He says they have no receivers other than Brock Bowers, and they have no player on the entire defense The entire defense, other than Max Crosby. I mean, what else is going to convince you that they're just not going to be a playoff team? Like they have nothing on defense other than one player, and that is a huge problem for any team. So another just bonehead take here. And I kind of, we've been talking a lot about football. We'll do this last one. This last one is a basketball take. I like basketball, not to an analyst level of basketball, but I do like basketball. And this take, again, egregious. People were telling him to stick to football after this. I disagree. He should just go home, not really do it, not do this anymore, retire. Don't stick to football. Don't do basketball. Just stop. Here it is.
Unless Tatum takes another major leap, they still won't have a superstar. He's a leap and a half away from superstar. He's a half leap away from star, but that leap ain't coming this year.
So again, I'm not really a big basketball guy, but this take once again just aged so horribly. At the time he said this, Jason Tatum was averaging 23 points a game. He was averaging 7 rebounds and 3 assists that year, 2019 to 2020 year. He made the All-Star game. He was called a leap away from being a star, a leap away from being a superstar. And then the next 5 years go as follows: All-Star, 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 All-Star. Finishes top 5 in MVP voting in almost all of those years. Averages 26, 26, 30, 26, 26, and by the way, wins an NBA championship. Man, I don't get how this guy's still employed. It's just like, I get, as an analyst, you're going to get some right, you're going to get some wrong, but it is an overwhelming majority wrong. And when he's wrong, he is dead wrong. It's because he says these takes with so much confidence that he says that it's like there will be no other way. Like, this is the only way this can happen. And it never works out in his favor. I'm all in on a Nick Wright retirement. And yeah, thanks for watching.